There are a number of things that we can talk about because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the NHL rumor mill has really started to kick up a gear the past few days. And that's not surprising, that's not new. As David Pagnotta said, the start of the Stanley Cup Finals means the start of silly season because guess what? There are 30 NHL teams that aren't doing much right now in terms of their on-ice play. So they got nothing better to do than to go out there and start speculating whom it is they could bring into their organizations and what directions they can go into the next few months. With that in mind, though, I wanted to take our focus onto that finals series because, yes, it is true. We did already make a video talking about the Jake Wallman impact in Edmonton and how he's been making Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings look a little silly with the way they decided to let him go. But instead of focusing on some of the other defensemen, the middle four pairing guys on the Oilers, I wanted to talk about the stats. I wanted to talk about some of the crazy numbers and how things are getting even better for the Oilers in this playoff run. As we had spoken about in yesterday's Game 1 recap video, we just kind of talked about how, hey, the Oilers looked composed. They stood tall. They were not getting pushed around and bullied. It was a very back and forth game. Both teams had their opportunities and both teams had their moments. But ultimately, Edmonton comes away with the victory after being down 3-1 in the second period. This is where we dive into one of the craziest things that we have seen all year. NHL Public Relations, they tweeted this out, that Florida Panthers are 31-0, holding a lead at the end of the first or second period in the playoffs under head coach Paul Maurice. But the Edmonton Oilers have their sights set on the first multi-goal comeback win in Game 1 of the final since the Bruins in 2019. The Panthers lead 3-2 through 40 minutes. It's a one-goal game through 40 minutes. Watch the rest on. Okay, we're not going to do that. But what an interesting stat to go out there and say. The Panthers are 31-0 when holding a lead at the end of the first or second period in the playoffs under Maurice, meaning that in order for the Panthers to lose, the games have to be either tied or they already have to be losing at the end of the first or second. There were no comeback victories against Florida under Paul Maurice in the playoffs. And the Oilers, they ended up breaking that. The Oilers' Twitter account responded to this NHL PR tweet saying, no, it's 31-1. Hashtag Let's Go Oilers. And this also was the very first multi-goal comeback win in a Game 1 of a final series since the Bruins in 2019. That's a lot more of a cherry-picked baseball stat. Oh yeah, we can do multi-goal comebacks, we can do Game 1s, we can do in the finals. Add all those three together, it's only been 6 years. So, yeah, it's not the most crazy stat, but still, a 3-1 comeback in any capacity, no matter if it's the Stanley Cup Finals or game number 56 of the regular season, that's still a pretty entertaining and exciting win. I do think, though, that a lot of the reaction and the excitement was kind of drained towards the end of it because it was like, yeah, this overtime period had gone by for so long and the Oilers were on a power play when Draisaitl scored. So it's like, okay, you expect him to score. You expect him getting a cross-crease backdoor with nobody on him to be able to put the puck in the back of the net. So it was like, okay, there you go. Edmonton takes the win. It wasn't like surprising, quote-unquote. Maybe it would have been surprising if you had learned about that result while the Oilers were down 3-1. But yeah, Florida, their very first comeback win against in the Stanley Cup playoffs under Paul Maurice this entire time. 32 games it took for the Panthers to lose in this capacity, but ultimately, that's what the Oilers are able to do. Now, speaking about that Leon Draisaitl, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the statistics and some of the conversation points that people have started to bring up in this series, because it's been quite noteworthy how for Leon Draisaitl in last year's 2024 Stanley Cup Finals series, while it's true that Draisaitl was over a point per game in the 23-24 playoff run, he only had himself 3 points and 0 goals in the final series against the Cats. Even in the huge lopsided victories in games 4, 5, and 6, Draisaitl didn't get many goals. He didn't get any, actually. So there was already a talking point talking about how Draisaitl was hurt and how he wasn't necessarily in the best position to produce last year in the Stanley Cup Finals. Last year, as we had said, 31 points in 25 games. This year, he has 27 points in 17 games. He has been a monster. Like, how do you even go out there and comprehend the point production that Draisaitl has been able to achieve this season? I mean, this is a guy who can win an Art Ross and a Hart all by himself if Connor McDavid is not in the lineup. So, take a look at this tweet made by NHL Sid. In the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals, Leon Draisaitl had a 60% expected goals percentage, but with his wrist injury, he couldn't finish. He scored 0 goals and averaged less than 3 shots a game. In Game 1 of the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals, he already has 2 goals and 9 shot attempts. It's hard to understate how much of a difference a healthy Leon Draisaitl makes. Draisaitl last year in the final had a broken index finger and ribs. Last year's Stanley Cup Final Series, he got 0 goals. This year's Game 1, he's got 2. And he scored at the very beginning of the game, and then scoring at the end of the game in overtime to win it. So this guy has been at the right place, the right time. He's setting the tone. He is putting himself in the perfect areas to receive pucks. And of course, with that shot, he is hammering it in right into the open nets, right by Sergei Bobrovsky's glove and pads. Leon is a menace. And with Connor McDavid also going out there and producing, I know yesterday the stat that they tossed out there on the broadcast was, oh, Connor hasn't scored a power play goal in these playoffs yet. It is kind of interesting just to see how this is how the Oilers look when they have McDavid and Draisaitl just absolutely at the peak of their abilities. And everybody else is stepping up too. For years, the problem was, oh, the Oilers need depth. The Oilers do not have what it takes to score and manage themselves when McDavid and Draisaitl aren't on the ice. But now, you take a look at it, it's like, okay, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been a menace himself. He's over a point per game. So is Evan Bouchard. Zach Hyman is not in the lineup, unfortunately, but everybody else around the Oilers' top guys, everybody trickling down in the lineup. The defense has been great. Stu Skinner has his iffy moments, but he has been better as of late. We don't know how that's going to last, but still, he's been good enough where it's like, yeah, the guy has won so many games in a row. What more do you want? At the end of the day, shutout or not, a win is a win. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How it just got better for the Edmonton Oilers. Not just with the Leon Draisaitl show, but with the breaking of the record, with the Oilers in this position. You know what they always say, right? You don't have a series until the home team loses. So right now, so far, Edmonton wins at home. We'll see what happens in game number 2 tomorrow, but for now, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Edmonton Oilers in this series against Florida, and where do you see things going? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.